What is up, Assetto Corsa Nation? I'm your host, Grippy Gene. Let's get right into. I'm really sorry, guys. I don't know how to start this intro, but you already know it's Grippy Gene, Midnight Club. You already know. Okay. So for today's story, we have Red House leader Sam, aka the White Flame of the South, leave because of some heated drama. It all started when your typical Red House event happened with a total of 6 drivers, featuring Snappy Boy, Grippy Gene, Drifty Joe, Sam, Maro, and Gorzira. It was all going well until one of the races went wrong and the server completely crashed. After that, Drifty Joe and Sam got in a heated argument about the TNT cars being super imbalanced in the event. Keep in mind, in this event, the map was hosted in Akina, with a total of Kunos cars, TNT cars, and Driftworks rock cars. Keep in mind that also, Sam did get the same criticism before in previous events by using unbalanced cars. Sam completely shut down the racing event and the series entirely. Sam had a mental breakdown and considered leaving Red House forever. But then, he said later that he was only leaving for a week. A lot of people got furious and started saying how Sam cannot take criticism, which he even mentioned he literally can't in a screenshot. In a DM with Fapster, which was leaked in the general chat. Will the Red House Day weekends come back? Who knows? Now, let's move on to the next story, which is an interview with Tweak covering the other story, with Midnight Club members talking bad about Tweak's mods. Rolling. So, Tweak, give us a little bit of insight. Give us your input. Or, first off, actually explain what happened.
Um, so I'm no longer working on. Well, it really started with specifically Midnight Club when one of their older members attacked me over something just out of the blue, just trying to be toxic in the community. So, make a long story short, new modder, he doesn't know the rules of the step course of the community. You don't steal people's mods. He wasn't looking at it as stealing. He's just trying to mod. He's putting a pack together because it looks interesting. He doesn't have a lot of contacts to know better, and he puts out a pack. In that pack, there is some cars that are taken from several places, and one of them, I guess, is assumingly is my TNT pack.
Right.
Now, it has a link to my YouTube. The person, one of those toxic people, Myth in this case, was just out to be himself, and he wanted to call me out. He was looking for a problem, and I hadn't been messing with anybody. I had just been making the cars, asking for advice, and that. So Myth sees that my YouTube's on there, then he starts calling me out all in the Discord, trying to make a point and be public about it. Now, keep in mind that he has me added on Discord, so he can just message me and ask beforehand, did you do this before I call you out? Because this is some grimy shit, So before he didn't even think about that, he just starts going out in public because he wants to make a point and try to be somebody, I guess. And so he does that. And so I make a post about him being toxic, and luckily, not that I really care, but it helps make him look stupid. The fact that the guy who actually made it, who I was explaining about, he's new to modding, came out and said that he's sorry, he didn't mean to cause drama. This is just a situation. It's a mistake a lot of people modders have. I'm not mad at him or anything like that. But once he came out and I had to send the dude a screenshot, he apologizes, but obviously I'm not about to accept your apology. I think of shit logically. I think of an eye for an eye. I don't try to be a nice person, I try to be a good person, but I believe in an eye for eye, bro. You don't come at you could have easily messaged me beforehand. You were cool with me when you wanted to get mods early or something, even though I was working on them or something like that, or do a paint job for a car, but you want to be sick and negative now. So that's what happened. That's the first issue. Now later,
which is today, right?
Which is today. I see them complaining about the cars, the TNT cars, which I no longer touch. I don't mess. Excuse me. TR cars will be an extension of TNT. It'll be like a complete version to an extent, but it's kind of different. It's going in a different direction. They're not easy to drive. Now they have stock weight, and they're a little more streetable. So, the guy, who was it? Shy, I think. Shy, K2, and somebody else. It's no secret they don't like the cars. That's fine, but they're not helping either. They were complaining about the TNT cars, they wanted to save the TNT cars. There's no saving the TNT cars. First of all, I don't touch those cars. You know, there's no saving to do. So if you want to help save them, I guess, sort of kind of help me with the TR cars. As a leaderboard, I gave you all the tools. You know, I gave you the information that I wanted. Well, how what would help me? Yes, I was a bit on the fence about, but I didn't call anybody out specifically. I called out a group of people. You know, and it wasn't even them necessarily because they don't put their opinion out 24/7. It might just be random people like Snappy. I know he does all the time. He has to always be in the. So then once I make that post, then they start going on about how the cars are broken, this and that. At one moment he wants to save the cars, but at the same time all the cars are shit and horrible. It's like, which one is it? Make up your mind. Clearly you like the cars and they're not shit because you're sitting here debating with me about this and that and how I should change them and how they're bad. You know, I mean, because again, there's too many options out there mod wise and nobody's holding the gun up to your head. So
Right.
like I'm not forcing you to use the mods. And then he says I have a monopoly. I do, but I don't. Like at the same time, you can mix and mesh cars. I keep saying that because I'm not, you know, you can make cars work, and then you can choose the right track. So I don't know, like you know, I don't know what to say to that. But my point was they're not helping at all. So I
Right.
don't feel like you should be putting an opinion when you're saying when you're not helping at all. You know, and they were saying I don't listen to criticism, but I'm asking for criticism. It's just not the criticism that you want to give me. You know what I'm saying? Because what you're telling me isn't helping. You just saying a car's on rails is not enough.
Right.
Just because the car's on rails, you know, I'm one person. I'm not the best driver with every single car. So so that's why I asked for other people to test. But if you're just telling me the car's on rails and then you bitch, like 95% of it is bitching and 5% is telling me it's on rails. The only thing he said that was helpful is the car's on rails and that it's OP. That's actually helpful. You know,
Yeah.
you can have it install, you can install all you want. As long as it's a fact, I can take something from it and use it. But the rest of it was just bitching and moaning and like, so I don't know. I don't have a direction. I'm just trying to like piece little shit together. But if you can ask me a question, like I can talk about something specifically because I don't. Let me see.
Right.
Let me read the post. Like, so give you a little backstory. TNT cars. We did this before. It was fine while people were talking about the leaderboards. But if you did you record that Celica part that I told you about?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so if you want to throw that in there, that little story in there, that
So to clarify about this whole Celica thing, pretty much for the most part, Tweak was releasing a Celica for the TNT pack, I'm assuming, and for the most part, he wanted to have a wing on it. Some people did not, however. So he decided to make a poll, and there was 50-50. People wanted a wing, and some people didn't. And for the most part, you try to like make a poll to see what the majority wanted, and it didn't really work out. Based on what Tweak said, he said that for the most part everyone was just out of control and he couldn't control the situation. So the poll idea is kind of out the window up to this point, at least what the Tweak said. So yeah, back to the video, boys. Here we go.
why I don't ask for 3D model stuff. There's stats boys, racer boys. Then it's just too many variables, and I don't want to deal with it. There's nothing I can do about it, but just put cars out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I don't know, and there's just really no way to balance 32 cars and then have them balanced on all these tracks without making them feel the same. And then there might be some people who like a bunch of cars that feel the same and just look a certain way, but then there's people who don't. So it's like, eh. It's like, what do you want me to do at the end of the day? All I can do is make a poll and do what the majority want. So
Exactly. Yeah. So I think that covers the most, or most of the story, or all of it, I should say. Right?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I don't have any problems with them, but my main point is if you're not helping, so just the thing is, I understand I was being like, don't bother me with this type of stuff, but some of those, although they're relatively new, the majority of them were around when I was in Toga Union, so they know what to bother me about and what not to bother me about. Like it's not even that I don't want to be bothered, but it's just that so many people coming at you. It's like a situation where with Flame where he doesn't want to put up with it. So I'll just ignore people. I mean, if you can message me and I'll just ignore you if it's ignorant to me. So
Right.
I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I don't know what they want to hear. If you want quality mods, like if TNT shit, fine. If you want a quality triple A mod, give me money. I will go out, measure the suspension of a freaking NSX, because I don't know, you can't just walk outside unless you're, I don't know. Not in America for the most part. You can't just walk outside and find a fucking NSX. I'm not out and about 24/7. I have a life, so I can't really
Right.
be, and then I go out in public and I'm like, oh, bro, can I measure your suspension? Like, what the fuck? Well, how does that sound? Yeah, if I say it's for a game and they understand, they might get it. But even still, like, that takes time. I gotta get gas. I gotta go to places. Well, if you want a AAA mod, pay me. I'll spend the time and quit my fucking job, and I'll make a mod that looks like a AAA game mod, and you'll have the physics to match it. But until you can pay me to do that, I'll put out what I can on my free time while and stuff that I enjoy doing. So, in a way that I enjoy doing it. So,
Right.
you
Okay.
know.
So I think that covers up the first episode of Assetto Corsa Drama Alert. I'm your host, Grippy Gene. So we'll see you on the next episode, ladies and gentlemen.
Dragon Ball Z.
Exactly. Well, see you boys later. Have a good one. Goodbye.